Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to today's collective reading video. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And as always, I am sending you huge amounts of love and light energy. I hope you're having a really beautiful start to your week, or I guess at this point we are at our midweek check-in. So hopefully it's been going wonderfully for you so far. And I would love to hear from you in the comments if there's anything you'd like to share about your own life, experiences, things you've been going through, maybe epiphanies you've been having, because I know that for many of us, the richest and most exhilarating experiences that we have as spiritual beings are often the unexplainable ones within ourselves, within our own energy, in our meditations, our dreams, our visions, our minds. And I know that those are the aspects of ourselves that sometimes are more difficult to articulate to others, or even when we do, they may be misunderstood or dismissed. So I hope that this can be a space for you to feel safe and comfortable and at home, and to be able to dive into those parts of yourself that are so rich and so beautiful, and if you feel guided to it, to maybe even share some of those things with our community here as well. So anyway, I really don't know where this reading is going. I am going to start by shuffling the traditional tarot cards and seeing what wants to come through. But here at the beginning of the reading, I also want to say that I have a brand new bonus reading for YouTube members or Patreon members. You can join and listen to that bonus reading from either platform. You guys know that for a while I have been doing extended readings for members after these collective ones, but I'm kind of experimenting right now with just having them be two separate videos. So this will be its own standalone video, and then there will be a separate standalone video for members if you're interested. So the title of that bonus video is in the pinned comment and description box below, just in case you want to check it out at any point. It was a really fun reading to do. There were lots of romantic messages that came through as well. So I would love for you to check that out if you do feel guided to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and shuffle and just see what wants to come up here. So, okay, I'm getting some major collective messages coming through here. And the first one that I'm getting is about the universe slowing someone down or making you slow down in some kind of way. And I'm also picking up on like this feeling of overwhelm. So it's like these two contradictory forces, the universe slowing you down, and then this internal sense of overwhelm that's kind of like contradicting that slowness, if that makes sense. So what I'm getting is that you're being guided to remember that everything is happening in its time. That's the first message coming up here. I'm also picking up something about this overwhelm, like, can you simplify your life right now? Or can you give yourself some time or some space at all during any point of the day to relax or to slow down a bit? Can you build in ease to any part of your day or your life? Because that's feeling really essential right now. I'm getting something about how the mind may be very overactive right now, like almost hyper functioning, where it's coming up with these endless like to-do lists of things that have to happen or get done, and almost like starting to spiral or get overwhelmed. But then I feel this still quiet voice coming from within your soul saying, does all of this really have to be done right now? Or can I just allow myself some time and space to rest? Can I slow down? Can I create more ease? Can I just slowly, gradually create this in alignment over time as it feels right for me? There's something about not needing to rush this process, just allowing things to naturally unfold. I'm hearing your vision is correct, but the process can't be rushed. So for someone here listening, you may have a dream or a vision or an idea of yourself, your life, things you want to do or manifest. And those visions you have are real. They speak to actual real timelines that you not only have the ability to connect with, but really what I'm picking up here now is that you've already connected with. It's almost like you've already arrived to that timeline and it's unfolding and you can relax about it, but it's happening in its own time. And it's going to feel almost like too gradual to the human mind here, but it needs to be trusted. That's kind of like what I'm picking up here right at the beginning of the reading. So can I get any more information? The Three of Cups in the reverse position. What is it with this card? We've been getting this card so much in recent reading videos, and this has to do with like a betrayal or gossip or like people leaving you out or treating you like an outcast or talking about you or something like that. And I don't really like to get negative with these readings, but I do feel it's important to be aware of what could be happening here. So with the Hierophant, what I'm getting is, and the Devil card and the Fool. Okay, well, I'm getting something very clear here. So you've escaped or walked away from some kind of system. This doesn't have to be a literal system, although it could be. It could be a family system, a belief system, a community, a way of thinking or being. This also could just be an energy system that you walked away from, like a more 3D based, heavier, more fear based way of subscribing to things or believing in things or perceiving things. I feel you've exited like some kind of system or matrix here. So you're coming up as the Fool, which isn't to say that you're foolish, very much the opposite. I'm hearing you're wise enough to, I'm not sure why I'm hearing you're wise enough to be spontaneous. You're wise enough to allow yourself to take leaps of faith into the dark, to embrace the unknown. Because while you may be judged as foolish by some of these individuals, maybe that's why the Fool card is coming up here as well, because it's almost like these people, well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but these people who are left behind in these systems right now, who are still in that way of thinking or in those communities or in those workplaces or whatever, it's like they're looking at you and gossiping about you or talking about you, or they have eyes on you because they're still very much burdened with this heavy energy represented by the Devil card here. They're caught in some kind of unconscious loop, and I'm hearing you are the one who escaped, but I'm also getting the word scapegoated. So you may have been scapegoated by this community or blamed in some way. Interesting. I don't know who I'm speaking to here. This feels like a really big message. So you seem to be very disconnected from these people, from these communities. You may have no awareness of them whatsoever. I also feel it's really worth mentioning that when I talk about this gossip or whatever's happening with these people, I do not only don't I feel, but I just know that these energies are not affecting you. You have a force field of energy around you right now, the very, very powerfully focused energy, by the way, that is not letting any of these negative vibrations get in. I do not feel that these kinds of projections are at all reaching you. In fact, you may not be aware of them at all. So why are they coming up in the reading? I feel as though the reason they're coming up in the reading is because no, they are not affecting you in any kind of tangible way, but you are having some kind of impact. Your energy is having an impact in these spaces that is going to be validating for you to understand. And that is why it's coming up here, not to make you think, oh, wow, those people are talking about me or wondering about me, or I have these eyes on me. No, that's not the reason it's coming up. It's coming up to let you know that you are stirring something up in this space that you left behind. Because what I'm getting is you may have thought that all of the work you did there or something that you did for these individuals, or maybe just the way you existed in that space was time wasted, or that you left just feeling like it was all wasted time, like you had no kind of real impact, or even that you were forgotten, that you walked away and you were just never thought about again. But I'm hearing you are unforgettable to the people who are left behind in that system or that space because your frequency is unforgettable. So yes, on the surface, it appears like they are talking about you, gossiping about you, whatever. But the reason they're talking about you is because the energy you left behind, the impression you left behind on that timeline, that environment, that family, that workplace, that friend group, that belief system, that whatever it was, the impression you left behind is still very much felt. And it's beginning to deconstruct this system from the inside out. Everything there is starting to unravel, but I feel that somehow you were the catalyst. Even if you left months, years, or even decades ago, whatever it is for you, I feel somehow the impression you left there, it was the catalyst for the unraveling that is happening now, that is going to set so many people free. But before they're set free, they're going to feel triggered. And that's that triggering we've been talking about with them potentially looking at you and I'm hearing misjudging you or mischaracterizing you, even though deep down they know your soul and your heart. They know your pure heart. That's what I'm getting here. That's why they never feel comfortable with their own gossip or projections, because deep down they can't deny that you are a very pure-hearted person. And they know that deep within themselves. Interesting. It's so odd to me that this has been coming up here so much. I feel like it's taken a lot of courage to live this life that you've been living, because you've often had to walk alone. And I see you walking away from different places, people, connections, friendships, environments, places that in some ways may have felt like home to you because they were familiar, but you were never willing to settle into familiarity at the price of sacrificing your authenticity. And I feel like that is ultimately what has continued to push you forward, even when the path forward has required walking alone. And I feel it often has if you're connecting with this reading. Yeah, the sense I get is you've totally elevated to a higher level. So you most likely are not too much aware of these individuals or of this system or what's happening within it, but just know that the frequency impression that you left behind is unraveling it from the inside out and setting many people free. Now, when I kind of start to channel into what's going on in your personal energy or your life, because I said you've elevated far above this, we have the Two of Cups. So I really feel as though something has clicked into place in your field. This kind of came up in our bonus reading as well. But what I'm really getting is you have shifted into this partnership energy because you found partnership within yourself. What I mean is you've become your own number one fan, your greatest supporter, your best friend, your own source of validation. And as a result of that, you've harmonized within yourself. You've come into this state of internal partnership, I guess we could say. But ironically, because you've found that internal partnership within yourself, you are now attracting in forces that are collaborating with you in the physical world to bring you even more love, connection, happiness, fulfillment, success on the external plane, to actually accelerate your life and your growth. And this will come in many different forms. I'm getting it will come in a myriad of ways. I'm getting that for most of you, it will be many different types of things that come into your life or already are coming into your life, but it will be things like kindness from strangers, new opportunities, moments that advance you in some kind of way unexpectedly, new potential romantic connections, people returning from your past in a healed state, wanting to offer you a balanced form of connection or partnership. I just feel as though this is your blossoming era. You've been in the cocoon, you've been in the chrysalis, you've earned your place, your seat at this table, so to speak. And it hasn't been easy. And it's a very rare path that you've been walking, a path of elevation that so few people have the courage to walk. And I do just want to take a moment to commend you for walking this path, because the irony is here that while the path you're walking is so rare and so difficult at times, it comes without a lot of fanfare as you're walking it, meaning very few people even appreciate that you're walking this path. In fact, they may even say that you should go a different way or that this path is not going to lead you anywhere. It's like this path is difficult to walk and it's very rare and it requires so much out of you. And the whole time you have people misunderstanding the path. That's what I'm getting about your path as I'm channeling into it. So I feel someone just needed to hear that moment of appreciation for how much you've gone through, the person that you've become through all of this, the commitment that you've had to staying true to your most authentic self, even when it hasn't been easy. And even when forces have been up against you, with the Lover's card, I mean, these are just the most beautiful cards that we could be pulling for you. And the Empress. I mean, I have to say, I know that I try to not, unless it comes up so clearly in the reading, I try not to limit the messages to only being able to apply to love and romance. But I have to say, there is just this romantic element in the air in this reading. I so strongly feel that there is something so powerful aligning for you right now in love. And not just aligning, it's been aligning for a long time. It's now manifesting, or you're seeing evidence of it, or things are showing up that are giving you confirmation of something that you've sensed romantically for such a long time. And it's going to be so profoundly validating, because it's going to make everything make sense to you. You're going to understand why certain things in your past never worked out, why you had to go through certain kinds of connections or situations that activated you in certain ways, all to prepare you for this pathway that is now open to you in love, that is available to you in a way that it was never available to you before. And you're showing up in it in the most beautiful energy imaginable as the literal Empress here. Free, confident in your divine feminine essence, in your creativity. I'm just getting really the most beautiful energy and frequency around you. But the number one word that seems to be coming up as I channel into your energy and frequency is freedom, in all capital letters, because I feel that the one thing you've been holding to the most is your own sovereignty, your own freedom. You've not been willing to give up that freedom for anyone or anything. And now the universe is rewarding your faith. The universe is meeting you halfway with the people, the connections, the opportunities, the situations that are acting as those forms of like physical partnership, like partnering with your soul in essence, providing more support and structure for your soul on this pathway that you've been longing for so long. So, wow, very beautiful messages coming up so far. And another little side message that came through here is, if you ever feel yourself having doubts surfacing around these things coming into your life, like, can I handle this success or this happiness, or can I sustain it, or is this going to last? What I want you to affirm to yourself is the reason you're attracting it in is because the universe knows that you're ready for it now. When something comes into your life, when something manifests, it means you've prepared yourself for it. You've done the work. Because I do get this sense that you may actually feel this almost like cold feet sort of feeling around these powerful manifestations coming in, like, whoa, this is exactly what I've wanted, but am I ready for this? But you are ready. Embrace it, enjoy it, allow it to unfold. And most importantly, keep showing up in your sovereignty and your power. Know that everything that is meant for you will meet you in that kind of energy. It will meet you in your freedom. It will meet you in your confidence, in your empowerment, in your self-love, when you are the most lit up version of yourself. And that is how you will know that it is meant for you as well. Now, I know we've mentioned this a bit in the past, but there's something very important coming up here about eliminating a savior mentality within yourself, meaning this urge that you've had in the past to heal or to fix or to save other people, which comes from a really beautiful, empathetic place from within yourself. But what I'm getting is there have been individuals who have been taking advantage of your empathy, or have in the past, and you've developed a lot of clarity on this recently, where you've realized that this is happening, but there's a message of guidance of loving yourself enough, valuing yourself enough, prioritizing your own peace and happiness enough to set boundaries when you can tell that your energy is being siphoned by someone who doesn't have the intention to take responsibility for themselves, for their life, for their own emotions, for their own energy. And I actually feel the universe is doing the work for you in this regard, because as you stay aligned with your freedom, your authenticity, your empowerment, I feel like things are almost being sifted and sorted in your connections right now. So yes, you might notice that certain people seem to suddenly disconnect from you or walked away from you, or maybe you suddenly felt apathy towards them and set boundaries or walked away from them. And it almost feels like a lot of these realignments, especially in your connections, have been building for a long time. But then when they happen, it almost feels kind of sudden, like, whoa, suddenly that connection completely shifted or completely changed. But it's been actually happening gradually beneath the surface. And what's really been happening is you've been healing like very, very deep attachment wounds within yourself that did not originate with you, that actually are generational curses or societal patterns that you as a soul chose to take on in order to heal within yourself so that you could show other people the path to healing. And now you're transitioning into that phase where you are going from healing yourself to being the healer for others, meaning going from shifting yourself, empowering yourself, to using your gifts to empower and shift other people. So I've been saying this in recent videos, but it's worth mentioning again that lately I've been picking up on the most powerful shift in your energy that I've really sensed in a long time. And it's such a beautiful thing to witness. So thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor connecting with all of you. And I want to know, what else can I channel for all of the beautiful souls tuning in here? Okay, we have the Seven of Cups. So a lot of options and opportunities opening up, actually endless options and opportunities is what I'm picking up on here. The sense that I get is after a period of stagnancy or feeling like nothing was really moving at all, suddenly tons of different avenues and pathways start opening up for you all at once. That's what I seem to be getting here. We have the Four of Wands. Ooh, the Tower and the King of Swords reversed. So there seems to be an energy that could be a masculine for some of you. It doesn't have to be, but do keep in mind, if you're new, I use these labels masculine and feminine to describe energy dynamics. They don't necessarily relate to specific genders, and I believe we all have a balance of both energies within each of us. But I'm picking up on a masculine energy that is very manipulative, that is very cold-hearted in a way, that seem to try to manipulate you or pull on your heartstrings in some kind of way to get certain things out of you. But at the same time, with the Six of Pentacles reversed, they were participating with you in an imbalanced way. And I'm hearing they were exiled from your life. So it's like the universe literally removed this masculine energy from your life to allow you to go towards your victory timeline with the World card and victory. You are on this success pathway. Things are really looking up for you. Your energy's in an amazing place right now. But there is a masculine who is spiraling because they feel cut out of that success timeline that you've aligned with. They feel cut out of your life, and they feel, and in fact, they know that they're no longer able to manipulate you in order to get some of your energy. And so with the Envy card, I feel this person really trying to pull at your energy. They've been trying to avoid some kind of a truth within themselves that would only come through introspection, that would actually lead to tremendous positive change if they were to look at that truth, but may cause them temporary upheaval or chaos. It's like they've been avoiding that healing work and almost trying to use their connection with you as a form of a bridge to the healing they haven't wanted to do within themselves, or even a distraction in some kind of way. It's like they were addicted to your energy, but it was just a drain on you. And I do feel, I'm hearing blaming you for everything. This is someone who seems to blame you for everything, is what I'm picking up on here. And they can sense that you've aligned with not only a victory timeline, but a reunion timeline as well. A timeline where you are connecting in with people who really love and support you. And that in itself actually seems to be very triggering to this person, because they were not able to love and support you in that way, or they were not willing to do the inner work to show up for you in that way. So it's almost like their karma is needing to see you being loved, being adored, being supported by people who are showing up for you in the kind of way that you have been needing. And even if they aren't literally seeing that, meaning maybe they don't have access to you in the physical, but they're sensing it spiritually. They're sensing that you've completely ascended to a higher level, and that on this level, you are getting the love, the care, the support that you need. This is definitely someone who is going to try to make amends with you or make peace with you. They're desperately going to want to communicate with you, is what I'm picking up here as well, with the fifth chakra here in the upright position. And with door to value, yeah, I feel like something in you has completely shifted, because at this point, you don't just know the value of your energy intellectually, like as an intellectual fact. You've literally internalized it. You've integrated that intellectual knowing. So you feel it with every cell of your being. You feel apathy towards people and situations that are asking for your energy, but not giving anything in equal return. And the reason you feel that apathy is because you've integrated that knowing of the value of your energy. So you're simply not available for giving it away to imbalanced dynamics. And that is what is keeping you aligned with this really beautiful high vibrational success pathway as well. And I see things in your life beginning to pick up and move very quickly, things that may have felt stuck for a long time with all tied up in the reverse position. I'm hearing the word planning and the thinking woman reversed. So what I'm seeing here is there is a message of guidance about being cautious about allowing your mind to get over involved here, because the mind is going to want to jump in and overlay its own plans and try to create strict schedules or routines or rigid things out of this fluid, flowing, unfolding happening so magically in your life. And it's really important for you to trust the timing of this unfolding, to keep flowing forward and to resist the urge to allow your mind to create something rigid out of it, to kind of stifle that energy by clamping down too hard on it and trying to control it in some kind of sort of harsh, rigid way, if that makes sense. That was just a little bit of a side message that I'm picking up on here. But yeah, with the hostilities card, I keep getting there are people and energies, maybe not even just this one masculine, but I'm hearing anyone who was not willing to support you or participate with you in an equal way energetically is sensing that you've aligned with a timeline where you are being supported in that way, and they're finding it to be very triggering. So don't be surprised if some of these individuals do happen to reach out to you from the past. That could be the case, although I feel that in most cases, you will most likely be having a sense of apathy towards those individuals, again, because you now fully have integrated the knowing of the value of your energy. So you're most likely not willing to be giving them that kind of energy. Although, of course, that's entirely up to you and your intuition. But yeah, with caring connections, the connections coming into your life truly care about you, love you, adore you, support you, whether it's community, friends, whatever it is. And I just feel this deep sense of relief, wow, this is my person, or these are my people, or this is where I feel loved. This is where I feel at home. For many of you, you may not have even ever had that feeling of home, even in your own home growing up or in your own family. But you're aligning with this now because with Broken Heart Reversed, you've healed some very ancient wound within your heart chakra. And I'm not even talking about a heartbreak necessarily, or that could have been part of it, but I'm talking about something ancestral. I'm talking about something that was handed down through generations, this tendency to give yourself away, to sacrifice yourself to other people and dynamics that may have ran through your family's line for hundreds or thousands of years. And I feel like you've broken the chain, the chain ends with you is what I'm picking up on here, because you were willing to be different, to set a different tone and pathway for future generations to come. Whether those generations are coming through you, if you're a parent or desire to be a parent, or whether this is speaking to the fact that you've broken a chain collectively that is going to free future generations to higher levels of existence. That's what I'm picking up on here. The work that you are doing on this planet is so powerful. It's the work of unconditional love with Angel of Love in the upright position. And now that you've learned to sustain that frequency of unconditional love within yourself by fully loving yourself, by fully coming back home to yourself, the universe is meeting you halfway. That's a phrase that keeps coming up in the reading, by bringing people, forces, opportunities, things into your life to support you in that mission of love, in that existence of love. I'm hearing you trusted the path and now it's here, which is such a simple way of saying that. But I feel like you've been trusting and feeling your way through the dark. Quite literally, you've been trusting your emotions as a guide, as a form of intuition. You've been feeling your way in the most literal sense. And now it's here. Now there is confirmation showing up of the things that you always felt but didn't have evidence for. And that's going to keep increasing and continuing and unfolding. And it's such a beautiful thing. And the most beautiful part of all of this is actually how powerfully you are showing up within it. Because I feel you in the middle of all of these beautiful unfolding changes, just saying like, wow, I did this. I healed myself in this way. I believed in this. And now here it is. And there's just this deep rooted feeling of empowerment and sovereignty through all of that with the goddess of the moon. I feel like you fully know your own power here. And it's so beautiful because I've been noticing, even just in the last few collective readings we've done here on the channel, that certain messages and phrases and sentences are coming through that I don't think have ever come through in this way before in the 5 years that I've been doing this channel. So I know that it speaks to a very powerful collective shift taking place. And I just want to close this reading by saying I am so thrilled for you within all of these changes. I hope that you've been feeling this beautiful energy in your own life and trusting it as it continues to unfold. I'm so happy and honored to be along for this journey with all of you. If any of this did connect, as always, I would love to hear from you in the comments section. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love. Have an amazing day, and I will connect with you here again in the next collective reading.